We now know who will pick where in the 2024 NBA draft, but what we don't know is who will pick who until, well, draft night. As opposed to the previous year, there isn't a clear favorite or even top 3 or 4, which, in my opinion, makes the build-up to a draft more exciting. In this video, we're going to talk about the prospects who should be drafted in the top 5. Let's get into it. Number 5, Buzelis. The Detroit Pistons find themselves in familiar territory, holding the 5th overall pick for a 3rd consecutive year. It's a bittersweet deja vu as they once again sit at the bottom of the lottery heap despite their struggles. I'm not a fan of simply rewarding teams for being at the bottom of the standings. And let's face it, all of the lottery teams are in dire need of a boost. Now, assuming that the Pistons hold on to this pick, though I do think they should explore trading it, my pick for them is Buzelis. Why? Well, let's talk defense. Buzelis might provide the much-needed real rim protection that Detroit's front court has been pleading for. Although blocks aren't everything, it is concerning that young athletic centers like James Wiseman and Jalen Duren only managed 3 blocks between them in their last 5 games. It doesn't seem good. Buzelis, though, offers more than just swatting shots. His shooting mechanics are buttery smooth, giving hope for a successful offensive future. He's a fascinating possibility with his ball-handling brilliance, all-around scoring talent, and underappreciated playmaking ability. Plus, don't be surprised if he wows scouts with his measurements or standout performances in individual workouts and combines. Number 4, Dillingham. The San Antonio Spurs have a golden opportunity to bolster their roster with some top-tier young talent, and they should have their sights set on Kentucky guard Dillingham. Rumor has it that Dillingham is even eager to don a Spurs jersey, and the feeling is mutual. With Victor Wembanyama already shining as a cornerstone for the organization, adding Dillingham to the mix seems like a match made in heaven. Sure, there are some concerns about Dillingham's shot selection and defense, but the Spurs are eyeing him as a key piece with either the 4th or 8th pick. Dillingham brings more than just ball handling skills to the table. With a catch and shoot percentage nearing 48%, he's a threat from beyond the arc, adding another dimension to the Spurs offense. Plus, his creativity and shot-making abilities are off the charts, making him a prized asset for any team. Of course, scouts will be keeping a close eye on Dillingham's measurements, especially his weight. But with his talent and potential, he's already making waves in the basketball world. Number 3, Nikola. In the 2024 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets had their sights set on a decent 9th choice. But circumstances intervened, and they were fortunate to receive the 3rd overall pick. Talk about a game changer. The draft is usually a lifeline for underperforming teams, but not for the Rockets this season. They are sitting on a gold mine because of an agreement they have with the Brooklyn Nets. They now have an exciting choice to make. Should they focus more on their future or make short-term improvements? Topic is an explosive prospect who could carve up any defense with his ability. His skill in analyzing defenses and plot plays in pick-and-roll scenarios is like watching poetry come to life. Topic's ability to maneuver and generate scoring opportunities is like having a cheat code in a league where defenses throw everything but the kitchen sink. Though he may not have the same ceiling as Steph Curry, his ability to score is still quite impressive. Topic thrives on attacking the rim with ferocity, absorbing contact, and finishing like a seasoned pro. In addition, with the correct coaching, his stealthy three-point shooting has the potential to develop. With Topic's playmaking prowess, the Rockets could ignite their offense like never before. Number 2, Donovan Clingan. For the Washington Wizards, getting the 2nd pick in this year's NBA draft and Sunday's lottery represented rounding the first turn into the backstretch of a very long racetrack. Taking into account Washington's extremely poor record in its several lottery trips, it was a good moment. Still, there is a very long way to go in the rebuild. Even so, selecting 2nd in a weak draft is preferable to selecting, say, 6th. But you can't just swing and miss when you're 2. And there's a good danger of crashing and burning in a draft with this much unpredictability at the top. That's why the Wizards shouldn't overthink this. If center Donovan Clingan of Connecticut is still available after the Hawks use the 1st overall pick in the draft, then the Wizards should pick Clingan. He's the next Brook Lopez. 20-year-old Clingan stands 7 feet 2 inches tall and weighs 280 pounds. He's about as surefire as a pick as you'll find in this draft. He's a defensive force that can start closing the gap left by Washington's defense from the previous campaign. He's one of the best screeners in college basketball. He's incredibly agile for a man of his size. Yet this doesn't imply that he leaps from the building. He doesn't. He's not a statue though. He has foot movement. He's an excellent drop defender, just as Lopez has mastered that skill in Milwaukee, allowing him to stay on the floor and anchor the Bucks' defense. Washington was bad at a lot of things this season, but was especially awful on the defensive end. With 58.4 opponent paint points allowed per game, they were tied for the lowest in the NBA, despite Gafford's best efforts to block shots as guard after guard exploited Washington's backcourt. The Timberwolves, who were second in opponent paint points this season, allowed 46.1 paint points per game. The 58.4 allowed per game was more than a dozen points more per game. Washington, or any other team for that matter, has little reason to doubt that Clingan can eventually undergo a similar offensive transformation while relying heavily on his formidable defensive abilities and passing abilities. Meanwhile, if you squint, you could see the beginnings of a defensive skeleton here with Clingan in the middle and Koulibaly and Deni Avdija on the wings, which could make opponents work a little bit harder to put the ball in the basket. Number 1, Alexander Sarr. With just a 3% chance, the Atlanta Hawks, despite all odds, secured that coveted number 1 choice in the draft. The crucial question, though, is still unanswered. Who should they give the golden ticket to? Now, allow me to present to you the magnificent talent that is Alex Sarr. This youthful wonder from the Perth Wildcats is 7 foot 1 inches tall. His astounding potential is already causing ripples in the basketball world, and he's only 19 years old. When it comes to defense, he is a formidable opponent who can overwhelm opponents with his commanding presence. And furthermore, he is not your ordinary big man when it comes to offensive play. He is a master of pick and pop, with handles that will make opponents dizzy. With Clint Capella's contract winding down and doubts lingering about Onyeka Okongwu's future, picking Sarr is a slam dunk move for the Hawks. It's like they say, sometimes the best decisions are the ones that just make sense. If I were calling the shots for the Hawks, I'd be thinking big. Landing that top pick opens up a world of possibilities. Trade away Trae Young and DeJounte Murray to stockpile assets. It's all about building for the future. With Alex Sarr leading the charge, flanked by rising stars like Jalen Johnson and Kobe Buffkin, the Hawks would be laying the groundwork for something special. And let's not forget about keeping an eye on that Cooper Flag sweepstakes next year. Even if Flag doesn't land in Atlanta, the 2025 NBA draft is shaping up to be a gold mine. So, worst case scenario, the Hawks snag another top pick in a stacked draft class, setting themselves up for success down the line. The excitement leading up to draft day is palpable, regardless of whether your team is targeting a high pick or hoping to make a big trade splash. And well, we're not quite done yet, because I want to hear from you. Which prospect, in your opinion, would be ideal for your favorite team? Which trade scenarios would you like to see happen? Drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. And yes, remember to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with NBA Swish. Also, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with other basketball fans if you liked it and want to see more like it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.